Hi everyone, it's Laura Christine from Kitchen Garden Expert, and welcome to my next episode of Garden Inspirations. Today I would like to talk about the differences between permaculture and conventional gardening. If you've been following this episode, or this series I should say, we've been talking about redoing and transforming a client's garden using permaculture techniques, and we're also going to do kitchen garden raised beds. But today I would like to focus on the permaculture piece of what we're going to be doing and explain what the difference is and what the benefits are of permaculture compared to conventional gardening. So when you think of conventional gardening, this is basically what it is. We till the soil, we plant the seed, we water and fertilize it, it produces a crop, we get our crop, the plant dies, we pull the plant out of the ground, and we may amend the soil, or we may just go to the next crop to plant if there's enough time left in the growing season. It's very, step by step. A lot of times we also plant in rows, and a lot of time we have a method or a protocol to what we plant when and where. And that's basically conventional gardening. Now the differences with permaculture types of techniques of gardening are that permaculture is no-till. It's a regenerative type of technique. It turns negatives into positives, and it really creates an ecosystem that is self-sufficient, and it's very sustaining for itself as well as us. Let me give you some little pieces to what permaculture entails. First, it is no-till. So where we talk about in conventional gardening, where we till the soil, we dig it up, and then we plant our seed, in permaculture, we don't do tilling. The only disturbance to the ground we do is to plant the seed if we need to. What does that do for the plants? Well, for example, this basil. When this basil is finished, we will just chop it down and let it be provided as mulch for the plants that we will put seeds underneath for the next round. That's where the sustainable piece comes. This plant, when it is dead, will provide mulch. It'll break down into compost, and the nutrients from this plant will fertilize the soil and also fertilize whatever seeds are growing in the soil next. It's also a lot less work, to be honest. Here in our zone 6, we've got a lot of clay, and I can tell you many of times I used a pitchfork in my gardens because the clay was so hard to break up. When you break up the soil in a conventional type of method, the end result is that you are bringing more weed seeds to the top. You're burying any mulch properties, any mulch that was in that soil. You are burying it by tilling the soil, and you are also opening it up for less water to get into the soil because everything is going to get compacted down. In no-till, it's built-in mulch, it's built-in nutrition. You're not disturbing any weeds. Eventually the weeds will go away. If the weeds pop up, you just pull them and let them compost into your mulch or into your ground for the plants that you're going to be planting. Another really neat part of permaculture is that it is regenerative, and that's basically what we're saying here is a plant dies, it benefits the plants after it. That's basically it. It regenerates itself. The entire system regenerates itself. Another part is it's sustainable. It's sustainable for the ecosystem itself, as well as those of us that are eating from the bounty that it produces. So that's a little lesson on the differences between conventional and permaculture. And we will be applying permaculture principles to part of the garden that our client would like. And it'll be fun because we're all learning, and there's all little caveats and there's different ways to do things, but basically the regeneration part, the no-till, keeping the concept of taking a negative and turning it into a positive. Okay, we've got plants that are infested with bugs. Why is that? Well, maybe those plants are sick. Maybe there isn't enough of a certain flower for a moth or, you know, an aphid or whatever to be attracted to in order to, you know, get what they need. I mean, there's tons of different ways to turn quote unquote negatives into positives in the garden, and we will be working on that more likely next year, because we're coming into our fall season here in zone 6. But you'll get to see those types of techniques come spring, come summer of next year in our permaculture techniqued garden. So hopefully this was helpful to you. Please reach out to us at kitchengardenexpert.com. We'd love to hear from you if you have any questions, or you can shoot me a personal email at findme@kitchengardenexpert.com. Until the next episode, have a fantastic gardening day. Bye-bye.